I'm here today with beautiful Maya, and we have done so many red carpet looks that I'm really excited to recreate one of our favorites today. I'm gonna start by cleansing Maya's skin because she's got a little bit of makeup on. I'm using this new Chantecaille cleansing balm. It's so beautiful, this. It's almost got kind of like an opal finish. And I'm just massaging that into the skin now, and that's just gonna dissolve any makeup that's on the skin and any impurities too. And then we're going to remove that after a little while, but actually this is a really nice opportunity to give skin a little bit of a massage. So I'm just going to remove this now. These might look like cotton pads, but actually they're the more eco-friendly version. These are by a brand called Tabitha Eve, and they're actually made of cotton. So it means once you've cleansed the skin, you can actually pop them in the wash and reuse. A nice kind of even base for the makeup that we're going to do. Going to moisturize now that that cleanser has come off. I am using a moisturiser by a brand called IS Clinical. This is a reparative moisturiser. I just want to make sure that the skin is really nourished and hydrated, which is going to create... Now to prime the skin, I'm using the Clé de Peau Long Lasting Hydrating Veil. This is a really amazing primer because it works for both dry and oily skin by helping to kind of regulate the amount of moisture that your skin produces. And the reason that I'm using this one is because it also has a real skin perfecting finish. So I'm just popping that all over with a brush, using a brush just to be a little bit more precise with my application. And then we're going to follow with foundation. Foundation I'm going to use today is this Clé de Peau Radiant Fluid Matte Foundation. It's a matte foundation, so it gives a really nice even coverage, but it still gives you a little bit of radiance and kind of that lit from within glow. So I think this will be a really beautiful one on Maya's skin. Now that I've applied that foundation, I'm just buffing it into the skin, and I'm using the Clé de Peau Full Coverage Foundation Brush. This is a really great one for making sure that there's no kind of brush strokes in that foundation and that you get a really full, even coverage. So put that foundation everywhere except under the eyes. I'm just popping a little bit of concealer on now. This is the Nabla Close-Up Concealer. So I'm just going to put this around the eyes. It's a really lovely, creamy but full coverage concealer. So I'm also going to use this on any little blemishes that we need to cover too. Using that same concealer now to cover blemishes, but with a different brush. Really important to change your brush just so as not to spread bacteria, especially when you're using it to cover any little breakouts. But it's really lovely full coverage while still looking natural. And now I'm just going to apply a little bit of powder. This is the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydro Powder in the pressed version, and I'm just actually pressing this onto Maya's skin because I don't want to move any of that foundation or concealer that we've applied, but I just want to set all the makeup without removing too much of the glow, which is what this powder is great for. Just want to put a little bit of light sculpting and some colour back into the skin now. So I'm using a little contour just under cheekbones, and I'm also going to take that right up into temples and a little bit at the top of the forehead too. Now for some blush, because we love blush. I'm using KVD Beauty blusher in the shade Foxglove. And I'm just pressing that onto the apples of the cheeks. And I want this to be quite a beautiful, strong flush. I'm going to line inside the waterline now. Just look up for me. This is a Chantecaille pencil in the shade Nude. Sorry, this is always a bit of a blinky one to film. But this just helps to kind of neutralize and remove any red in the waterline. Now we're going to leave skin for a moment, just so it all settles. I'm going to move on to eyes now. I'm using a NARS Shadow Primer in the shade Light. This is really just to create a base so that the eye look that I'm about to create doesn't crease and move around. I'm just going to line the eyes now, and I'm using a shadow stick from Laura Mercier. This is kind of like a really pale grey. It's a beautiful shade, this one. The colour's called Fog. So I'm just popping that all over lids, kind of like the outer corner of lids and all along the lash line too. We're also going to put a little bit of this under the eyes, along the lash line, and then I'm going to blend out that sort of shadow so that it just becomes a really light wash of colour. Eyes where we want that tone a little bit deeper. Now for eyeshadows, I'm going to be using this palette, which is a Dior Universal Neutral palette in the shade 01. Starting off with this kind of taupey shade, and then going to add a little bit of black too, just in the outer corners of the eye. And now I'm just going to pop a little bit of the silver from that palette just in the centre of the lid. This is the most amazing silver. It's so highly pigmented and gives a really gorgeous sheen. So now that the eyeshadow's on, I'm just going to show you a little trick. I'm taking a bit more of that contour and kind of going to join up from there. That eyeshadow ends right up into the temples, and what that does is from the front, it just gives us this effect of the eye shape being a little bit more lifted and winged. Just a little tip, which is quite a nice one for all you super fair skin girls out there like Maya. If you find that you put bronzer or contour on your skin and it goes patchy, just mix it with a little bit of powder just before you apply, and that helps to give you a more even finish. I'm going to take some of that contour now, just with a fluffy brush, just down the sides of the nose, but also in this part here, just so that that kind of shape that we're creating is really connected and fluid. Now for some liner, I'm going to use a gel liner on Maya's eyes. If you just look down for me. And I'm just starting in the outer corner just because I want the outer part of the eye, that liner, to be a little bit thicker so that we can have quite a dramatic flick. Popping on some lashes now that the liner is done. I'm using my No Lash Individuals from Sweet Lashes. I'm using the medium length, which is kind of this row here. And I'm just going to layer the eyes in that medium length and then maybe add a few of the longer length just from the center of the pack to the outer corners, just to open up that shape a little bit. Lashes are on, I'm going to pop some mascara on top. I am using the Westman Atelier mascara. I mean, this packaging is just beautiful. I just wanted to show you guys, but I'm going to use a disposable spoolie to apply it. Now for some brows, I'm just going to comb a little bit of soap through Maya's brows. And Maya's got beautiful full brows, but I just want to make them a little bit more defined. So the soap is just going to help to hold the hair in place and give that product that I'm about to apply something to stick to. So for brows, I'm using a slightly darker shade than Maya's natural brow colour. This is Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Gel in dark brown, and that is because her hair is pretty dark, so I just want to make sure that the brows look as the same sort of colour as the hair, maybe a little bit lighter, and also really frame this eye look beautifully. And now for highlighter, I'm using this 004 Rose Gold highlighting palette from Dior. So beautiful, this one. And just quite a small brush, and I'm just going to dust a little bit of this highlighter, which has got kind of a subtle rose gold hue. It's really beautiful. Just at the top of cheekbones, and also down the center of the face, anywhere that we want to be a little bit glowy. Now for lips, I'm going to line Maya's lips with this liner from KKW Beauty. This is in the shade Nude 0, and it is a very, very pale nude. So I feel like this is going to be a really, really close match with just a little bit more peachy tone to it. But a very close match for Maya's lips. So I'm kind of going to colour in the whole lip, and this is going to act as a base for lipstick. It's going to give us lots of longevity. And the lipstick I'm using is also a KKW lipstick. This shade is called 90s Chic. It's a really beautiful tone. Okay, so I'm just going to set the look now using a little bit of this facial mist from Glam. I'm going to spray a light mist on. And then my friend Ricci is here. We've done so many gorgeous red carpet looks together. So he's going to give Maya some hair, and then we will show you the finished look. So here is our finished look, and Ricci has just given us this hair, which is super, super cute on you, Maya. You look so beautiful. I hope you guys have all enjoyed.